This is KVUE News Daybreak.
AISD police facing tough questions today about how they handled the possible assault of a 4-year-old girl, why Travis County prosecutors are now getting involved.
And President Trump heading into one of the most challenging weeks of his presidency as he juggles a looming budget deadline. What he is doing to keep the government open.
I actually got out of the vehicle and I ran to where she was. It was just amazing to finally get to see her.
A Tennessee teenager back with her family, her alleged kidnapper heading to court today. What we're learning from the teen's father about her condition this morning. Good morning to you and thank you for joining us for KVUE News Daybreak. It's 5 a.m. I'm Brian May.
And I'm Yvonne Nava. It is Monday, April 24th. And before we check in with Anavid Reyes for a look at the roads, let's get a look at Erica Lopez to see what's happening outside right now. Hi, Erica.
Hey there, guys. Good morning. Well, very, very chilly as you're heading out the door this morning. Keep in mind, we're waking up to temperatures in the 40s for some areas, lower 50s for the majority of us, and dew points cool and comfortable. Today's kind of the last day that our dew points will be in the 40s for the morning as we're entering into a warmer and more humid trend. Temperatures across the viewing area right now, 41, the coolest spot in Fredericksburg, in the upper 40s for Blanco, Lockhart at 46, Austin at 50 degrees. Here's how our Monday is going to play out. Mostly sunny day. We have plenty of sunshine to enjoy, and that's going to allow our temperatures to be pretty average for this afternoon. In the lower 80s, we're forecasting about 82 degrees for our forecasted high across the Austin metro area. Let's take a look at the roads this morning with Anavid Reyes.
Thank you, Erica. Good morning. This is a live look at I-35 at 11th Street. You can see traffic is flowing quite nicely, and that's the same story for most of the Austin metro area. You can see I'm giving you a lot of green there. Now, if you're traveling on Mopac southbound 45 to downtown, 16 minutes to get to your destination, and 5 minutes from 2222 to Cesar Chavez. Guys, back to you.
All right, Anavid, thanks. It's expected to be a busy week in Washington, D.C. President Donald Trump getting ready to mark his first 100 days in office. The president juggling a budget deadline, a renewed health care push, and that border wall and all the funding issues that go along with it. And it's all complicated by a potential showdown. Lawmakers must reach an agreement to keep the government running after its current funding expires at midnight this coming Saturday. ABC's Stephanie Ramos explains how President Trump is tackling these issues before time runs out.
It's been almost 100 days since President Trump took office.
We're going to defend our workers, protect our jobs, and finally put America first.
His administration heads into a tough week with lawmakers, all complicated by a potential showdown over that border wall with Mexico. President Trump demanding Congress put up the money for it, but that could lead to a government shutdown. The deadline is Friday night.
So I think that's a fight worth having and a conversation and a debate worth having for 2018, but we cannot shut down the government right now.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions defending the president's request that American taxpayers begin paying for the wall, despite promises that Mexico would pay for it.
I can't imagine the Democrats would shut down the government over an objection to building a down payment on a wall that can end the lawlessness.
Some Democrats not buying it.
To think that he would consider shutting down the government of the United States of America over this outlandish proposal of a border wall.
But the budget deadline and possibility of a government shutdown isn't stopping the president from tweeting about the latest ABC News Washington Post poll. He's got a 42% approval rating, the lowest of the last 13 presidents. Trump posting, new polls out today are very good, considering the media is fake. As for Vice President Mike Pence, he is rushing back to Washington, cutting short his trip overseas. Aides tell ABC News he wants to be in the nation's capital sooner to deal with all the issues facing the White House this week. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, Washington.
Tension again rising with North Korea. President Trump ordering the USS Carl Vinson aircraft carrier to sail into the waters off the Korean peninsula. Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, responding with a threat to sink the aircraft carrier. That ship now starting joint drills with 2 Japanese destroyers.
Travis County prosecutors are looking into the handling of alleged sexual assault case involving a South Austin elementary school student. KVUE's Corey Coffin joins us from the newsroom this morning with details. And Corey, authorities are questioning AISD police, how they handled the case, right?
That's right, Yvonne. Austin Independent School District officials and their own police chief says that investigators did not follow at least one important lead in this case. The child's parents say the attack happened back on February 7th after they dropped their daughter off at Boone Elementary. Austin Independent School District police interviewed the little girl, but they had to close the case, they say, because of a lack of information provided by the young student. An attorney representing the parents of the child met with prosecutors last week to present more evidence. According to the girl's medical records from Dell Children's Hospital obtained by the KVUE defenders and the statesman, the girl had injuries consistent with, quote, sexual assault by bodily force, end quote. AISD's chief of police admitted that they closed the case before getting those records. So he is now promising a full and thorough investigation moving forward, and we'll continue to follow this case as developments happen. Guys, back to you.
Corey, thanks. Pflugerville police are still looking for two gunmen accused of a shooting near Lake Pflugerville that left one person hurt. This is video from the scene. The shooting happened Saturday around 9 p.m. near Weiss Lane and Pflugerville Parkway. When police arrived, they found a vehicle with multiple bullet holes. One of the passengers was hit by a bullet. Medics took that passenger, the victim, to the hospital. They're recovering from non-life-threatening injuries. Right now, police are looking for two men in their early 20s, both about 6 feet tall. Officers believe they drove off in a red Mazda or Toyota. If you have anything or you know anything, call police.
Leander, ISD officials sending out a warning to parents this daybreak about a potentially dangerous cleaning product kids are bringing to school. Wiley Middle School officials want you to keep an eye out for this product. It's called borax. Students are taking this household cleaning product on campus to make homemade slime, and they're bringing it in water bottles. Health officials say borax can cause eye, respiratory, and skin irritation. Leander officials are now asking parents to talk to their kids and help keep this chemical off of school property. If your child ingests borax, contact Poison Control immediately.
Early voting begins today for a multi-million-dollar bond package aiming to make improvements in San Marcos. Voters will decide whether to support an almost $32 million bond package that will go towards public safety improvements as well as library expansion. If approved, property tax would go up about $126 a year for a home worth $150,000. If you can't make it out for early voting, you will be able to hit the polls on May 6th. That's 2 weeks from now. Voters can find the polling location on our website, KVUE.com. Big day for hundreds of people here in Austin. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services will swear in 350 people from 70 countries today who will officially become citizens of the U.S. The special event begins at the University of Texas LBJ Auditorium at 2 p.m.
5:07 is your time this Monday morning. In a few hours from now, former President Barack Obama will give a speech at the University of Chicago. It's his first public event since leaving office. Today's event will focus on civic engagement and the university's Fine Arts Center. President Obama met with at-risk young men and boys yesterday to talk about job skills and employment opportunities. Former President George H.W. Bush could be released from the hospital today. He has been recovering from pneumonia since April the 14th. A family spokesperson says Bush is doing better, but doctors at Houston Methodist want to ensure a clean bill of health before releasing the 92-year-old. It's the second time he's been treated for pneumonia this year.
Fire crews still battling over 100 massive wildfires across the state of Florida, now in a state of emergency. The flames have calmed down a bit in some areas. On Sunday, state officials lifted mandatory evacuations for thousands of homes in several regions after it did rain in that state over the weekend. It's not all good news, though, for everyone. Some families now left to assess the damage and pick up the mess left behind. Others still trying to cope with the terror brought on by these flames.
She started panicking. She started crying, saying, "Dad, there's smoke everywhere. You can hardly see out here."
Our whole street, Kearney Avenue, just engulfed as a tunnel of flame.
Authorities say 120 fires are still burning statewide and say only 75% of them have been contained. They estimate the fires have burned through nearly 30,000 acres in total. Time now to get a check of our forecast. We had a cool start to the day today, right, Eric?
That's right. A lot of people are waking up to temperatures 10 to 20 degrees below average this morning. Here's what it looks like across the entire Lone Star State. 50s in the Panhandle. 50 degrees here in Austin currently, even 50s across the coastal areas. Corpus is in the mid-50s themselves. Our coolest spot this morning is in Fredericksburg. They're in the lower 40s at 42 degrees. 50s, even some 40s for the central counties. That's the same story for the eastern counties. So Check out these dew points, though. This is something you don't wake up to very often in central Texas. We have dew points in the 40s and the 30s. This could cause some fire danger issues or threats in central Texas for ourselves also. So keep in mind, conditions are very, very dry out there. The good news is that we don't have any strong winds in your forecast. Here's a look at your rush hour forecast today. Plenty of sunshine. That's going to allow our temps to warm up into the 80s. Our KVUE photo of the morning. Brad, our Twitter follower, found a little minion trying to keep nice and warm this weekend because it was kind of chilly out there after that cold front pushed through our viewing area.
I'd love that little hoodie for here in the studio because it's always cold.
Yeah, we need a few of those ourselves here.
Well, some big changes could be coming to Austin Parks and Rec thanks to a successful turnout at this weekend's Cap 10K event. A stampede of Austinites gathered in downtown Austin on Saturday for the biggest race in the state of Texas. The over 6-mile route has grown since it kicked off back in 1978. Look, a banana. Oh, look, Princess Leia. You know, in and out of the city streets, runners were on their toes, running about, and from first-timers to the Cap 10K veterans. Runners say it's the kind of race that gives people motivation and excitement.
Everyone who runs in Austin runs this event. So if I'm not going to win, I might as well look good and have fun. And so, yeah.
It doesn't get any easier, but I enjoy it.
Runners were greeted with food and music, some photo ops, and of course applause once they crossed the finish line. And that man we just heard from, wasn't he the man that's been doing this year after year for quite some time?
Since the 70s.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Nice.
Well, it's happened again, another confrontation on board an airliner.
And it was caught on camera again. What happened and how the airline is trying to make it right.
And shocking video, a child hanging on for dear life falling out the back of a bus. We'll hear from the man who witnessed it and helped save that child's life coming up.